Hey everyone, it's Eddie Campos here with Remax Preferred Associates, and this is Real Estate in 60 Seconds. We're trying to give you some bite-sized information to be able to help you through the real estate process, whether that's buying and selling. Today is my very special guest, the one and only Cheryl Carroll with Fairway Home Mortgage. Cheryl, how are you?
I am wonderful, Eddie. How are you?
Good. Everybody's safe and healthy on your end?
Everyone's doing great on my end. Yep.
All right. Awesome. Well, someday we'll be able to do this in person again, but for now, Zoom is the way to go.
It is, and it works wonderful. So this is awesome.
So we talked a little bit ago about credit improvement. So there's many instances where I'm dealing with people that have been recently divorced, coming out of school. There's all sorts of factors that could affect their credit history, and we're trying to figure out ways to help improve that. So that's going to be our 60-second topic today. Are you ready for me?
I'm ready.
Okay, I'll let you know when the clock starts.
Okay.
Go.
Pay off judgments and liens. Collections make payment plans to start working on those collections. The old ones, don't worry about. Pay down debt. Try and keep your debt down to about 20% of the high balance. So if you have a credit card of $500, try and keep it down around $100 every month or less. If you have student loans, basically it's going to affect your credit, but there's not a ton you can do about it. The interest will be accruing on top of that, but make sure you always make payments on time. All your payments on time are affecting your credit and your credit score every single month.
What if you had past due credit cards in the past? Now you're trying to make an improvement.
Yeah, so just make sure you don't. I mean, every month that you do not have a late payment, or you have a collection, it takes about 6 months to get back to where you are starting from. So always make sure that
60 seconds.
I'm at 60 seconds. Okay.
Actually, we're about a second or two over, but go ahead.
Okay. Just make sure that you just, if you do get a ding, you get a collection, or you have a late payment, just make sure that you recover it as soon as possible, because that'll start the clock ticking over again. And then it could just be a small ding, and you should be fine.
Okay. So we talked about how to maintain that or improve that. What if you're in a situation where your credit went to 580, let's say, just as a number, and you want to make improvements to be able to get it up to a level where you can purchase a home? You want to get to a 650, a 670, a 700. Mm-hmm. How does somebody try to make improvements to do that? Are there some basic ways to be able to help that?
Well, I will mention one thing. If people have 580 and they want a 650 to buy a home, I can help them with that. It's going to be different for each person, truly.
Right.
Generally, yes, pay down credit. That's huge, is paying down credit debt. People that have high credit debt, it really drops your score dramatically. So if you can pay down, don't close any accounts, pay them down to about 20%. If you pay them down and work toward paying all of them down. Also, some people think, let's say you have 3 credit cards and they're kind of high balances. Mm-hmm. Some people think, well, I'm just going to work on this one and pay this off, and then I'll work on this one. Don't do that. Pay all 3 of them at the same time and try to get all 3 of them below 20%, and then work on paying them down. And again, don't close your account.
Okay. So let's say somebody doesn't have any credit. How would they be able to help establish credit? Let's say they've tried to apply for a credit card, they were denied, and they don't have bad credit, they just don't have any credit. What would they do?
So my number one suggestion is what I do with people that have no credit score. The number one thing to do, contact your bank. There are some other banks that you can do it online. I think I probably shouldn't get into all the different ones, but you can go online and say, how do I obtain a secured credit card? And that's what they want. It's called a secured credit card. It's usually about $300, some are $500. You go into the bank, or if you do it online, you give the bank that much money. Let's just say $300. You give $300, and they keep it kind of as a reserve. Then you use they give you a credit card. You use a credit card up to $300. You use it, pay it, use it, pay it, use it, pay it, and it starts to build credit. Then you can feed off of that to get other things.
So in a sense, it's almost being used as a debit card then.
Well, it's not, because that money that they're hanging on to is just a reserve in case you didn't make your payments. It's protecting the bank.
I
So the bank
see.
is saying, I don't necessarily know how you're going to handle your finances, so
Right.
I'm just going to hang on to this. You can't use
Right.
your credit card more than this, and if you don't make your payment, I've got this to cover it.
Okay, so you're still making payments against the 300.
Yes.
They're holding the 300 as security.
Correct. Yep.
So
And that'll use, and make sure to ask that they report to the bureaus. Some secured credit cards don't report to the bureaus, and that's a waste of time. So ask them, say, do you report to the bureaus? Go to your local bank and say, do you report to the bureaus if I do a secured credit card? If they say yes, then perfect. That's what you want. And it does cost. It's usually like, I don't know, they're all different, but typically I would say it was $100 a year.
okay. So if somebody does that, how long would they have to do that before they're able to use that? 6 months, a year?
I would say 6 months, and then they'll start getting, pretty decent credit, and then they can open another credit card, like a real credit. That's a real credit card, but a non-secured credit card, and then maybe they can have a couple of them that they can work on. They'll have a score after just a few months, but then just to keep it going, 6 months will make it strong. Make it a much stronger, and then get another card and maybe do 2 of it. The key is you don't want to rack that card all the way up to the top. You want to use it for a tank of gas. You want to use it for a trip to the grocery store. Yeah. And then
stuff you're already paying for anyways.
Right. And then pay it down. Don't just think, woohoo, I have an extra $300.
Well, that's great advice. I appreciate your time. This is great information for people to be able to digest if they're in that situation. And as always, folks, if you have any questions about real estate or about financing or anything in those worlds, please reach out to myself, Eddie Campos, RE/MAX Preferred Associates at 419-367-267. 2667. I don't know my own number. Or Cheryl, how can they reach you?
Cheryl Carroll. I'm at Fairway Mortgage, and my cell phone is 419-480-9575, or my office line is 419-481-9510.
And I'll put all of our contact information in the comments below. Thank you guys for your time, and we'll see you next week.